That's where I got my start, was actually in student government politics. I was student body president in Grand Valley for a few terms and really enjoyed it there. Studied finance and business administration while I was there. I helped run a third-generation family construction company. We've been in northern Michigan for about 4 generations. Live in Pellston, actually, but quite familiar with I-75. In fact, we were watching hockey just before the debate. Got here a little bit early to go watch, I think it was Pee-wee's in the Norris Center. I actually played my Bantam hockey here and my junior hockey here. And I haven't seen my coach since then, but he showed up for the debate. John Wiseman's right back there. So we were juniors when we won a state championship out of St. Amos. It's good to see you, John. But it's also good to be in the Sioux. Again, playing our junior hockey over at the Fuller, and having a family business, actually part owners of that hockey. So it's good to be in the Sioux. It's also good to see a lot of young faces. I'm sure over the last 18 months, this is the most young faces we've seen in one room this interested in politics. And not so often that young people like myself outnumber the other people. So we're going to get a good crowd tonight. We're going to talk a lot about jobs. You're going to hear jobs, jobs, jobs. But 18 months ago when I decided to run, I was similar to where you are, sitting there at Grand Valley's campus, and I was getting tired of hearing sound bites and elected leaders and career politicians talking about my future. And when I started to lobby Lansing for higher education and to create an environment which I could stay in northern Michigan as a 4th-generation resident and help run a small family construction company that my grandfather built, I felt a little disenfranchised with my elected leaders. And so we decided to make a go of it here in the 107th District. And I know in 2008 there were a lot of bright lights and a big stage with Barack Obama in 2008, the federal stuff. And now we've got George Monero and Rick Snyder squaring off. And then you've got the all-hail the Bart Stupak seat that we're getting ready to vote on here. Dan Benchek and Gary McDowell. But as a microcosm of this, the 107th District is so important to us. I think it's important to my opponents, it is to me. And it has to be about jobs. North of Clare, we have some of the highest unemployment in these counties. And so dig deeper than just sound bites tonight. That's what I'll push you on, and I hope your questions reflect that. But look for a plan. Look for not just this race, but all your politicians who running for office and candidates should have a detailed plan, a roadmap of what they're going to be held accountable for. Now, I've been talking about 5 very simple things over the last 18 months, but they're things that are critical to Michigan's future and the things that are going to move Michigan forward. I hope I get a chance to talk a little bit in depth with those, but push the candidates tonight, myself and my opponent, and hopefully get a better understanding of who we are and where we see Michigan in the next 5 to 10 years.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Mr. Timmer, your opening remarks?
Hello, good evening. My name is Dick Timmer. I started my career sometime back at Hope College. I worked my way through my degree in business administration. I entered the Carpenters Union in Detroit, went to apprenticeship school. I consider that to be my master's program. And with a degree in business administration and the card, I was able to work my way up the ranks to become a superintendent very early in my life. I spent 7 years running major projects on the East Coast, from Albany, New York, down to Washington, D.C. At 33, I realized the dream I was chasing was not the dream that was meant for me at that time. I gave 2 weeks' notice. I had previously, with a large bonus I received, bought a piece of property in Lake Superior, West Plymouth, and I gave 2 weeks' notice and I moved north. I went back to working with my tools as a carpenter. I am blue collar at heart. And I turned back, worked with my tools 7 years, worked my way up. So that's when I realized there was more to my life than my career. My wife and I became volunteer EMTs. I served on the Bayville Ambulance Corps for 13 years. I got involved with zoning and planning, served on that for over 15 years. Later on, when the seat was open in my district for the county commission, I was asked to run from that, and I was asked from both sides of the aisle. And I really hadn't considered that as a place I wanted to go, but I realized it was a place I could serve my community. I was elected in a tough primary and a tough general, and I've been on both since. I believe that politicians' responsibility is to serve the people of their district and not their own personal return. I currently work with our Michigan Works program. I'm on that state board. We work on our regional planning. I work with our community action, I'm sure that. And I have my life experience back to the people by sharing what we've learned in a manner that's going to bring us forward as a group. It is a job that we are looking at. Those jobs are going to be created by helping our small businesses, our agriculture, and the entrepreneurs in our communities. Mr. Works, we have a program right now. We're offering a small business concept to our business people. Very successful program. That's something we need to look at the state level. We have a lot of other issues